Is SpaceX stock coming back down to earth? It sure looks like it. We're going to talk about it here in just a few minutes. Hi, I'm Adam Anderson, owner and founder of WealthGuard Advisors.
Hello, I'm Blake Anderson, certified financial planner. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yes. So a couple of weeks ago, we had so many people calling saying, "Hey, I want to buy the IPO SPX," and I kind of had to pump the brakes a little bit on people saying, "Hey, look, there's oftentimes it'll come back down and give us a chance to buy it again at or near the IPO price," and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So we saw SpaceX run up to 225. It's come down to the 147 low. Blake, what again was the IPO price and what was the where it started trading at?
Yeah, so the IPO was 135 and then it started trading at 150. So it got below where it started trading, but not quite to the IPO price.
Yeah, so not quite to the IPO price. I kind of feel like it's, that opening at 150, it's come below there, and that might end up being a support. But the real hype that was around the initial IPO is starting to diminish a little bit. Like I said, the spaceship's coming back down to Earth. It's come out of orbit. And we look at the valuations of this company, and really the valuation, the multiple of their earnings is very low because they have earnings, but their expenses are greater than their earnings. Whereas you could buy another company that's in similar size and scope, like a Google, which has spectacular earnings. So, that's what a lot of people are talking about right now. And we're really buying on the potential of SpaceX as opposed to a company that already has founded earnings that are solid and predictable. So a lot of people are weighing out, hey, is this a great investment? So is it a good time to buy SpaceX? What do you think, Blake?
It's certainly a lot better time to buy SpaceX than a few days ago. I'll give you that. And I just remind people that, the volume of trades, the float is what they call it, how much SpaceX shares are available, is actually quite low compared to the value of the company. And so there were a number of people who were just, hey, I want to get a piece of this at any price, and they don't really care about the valuation. They just, average investors out there who say, hey, I want my 10 shares, 100 shares of SpaceX, and I don't really care about the price. I just want to own the name. And for the first couple of days, that's what we saw, where they wanted to be satiated and there weren't enough shares to go around at the time for those buyers. Now that that's starting to pass, and it might still continue for a little while. I expect we'll continue to see large swings in price to the upside and to the downside as it stabilizes over the next few months. But after that initial buy at any price is over, we see a correction. This one actually happened pretty quickly. Usually with IPOs, it takes a couple months for these sort of IPO jitters to work their way out of the market. So I'd still be cautious with here. If you want to buy just to be a holder, now is a lot better time to do it than a couple days ago. But I think there'll still be opportunities in the next few months once things stabilize a little bit.
I think if you're a long-term holder of SpaceX, I mean, it is like double. We talk a lot about Rocket Labs and some of these other companies that are out there in the competitor space, but they don't even hold a candle to SpaceX and what their backlog of product is and all the things that they're doing, not even close. So it is still the dominant space investment. And if you're a person that's, hey, I want to hold on to this for the next 10, 15, 20 years, the rest of my life, it might be an excellent investment, but really volatility over the short term, very likely. So I want to talk about, Blake and I do a retirement readiness seminar for the public. We're doing one in Elk Grove on Wednesday night, this Wednesday. We do the one about every month. We'll be in Folsom and then out in Roseville and then back to Elk Grove again. So every couple months.
Yeah, obviously, retirement's a bunch of big decisions, deciding how the rest of your life is going to be. And a lot of those decisions are confusing, opaque. There's not a bunch of easy information out there. And so what we're trying to do is get you in front of resources to help you make wise decisions. And that's really my role as a certified financial planner, is to help people make wise decisions around, especially retirement, but their whole financial life. And making sure that you have the right information at the right time to make the best decisions.
And like you said, I mean, some questions are not black and white, and we get the often question about when to take my Social Security. So that's something that we spend a lot of time on. Is like what might work for one person does not necessarily work for another person, and that's something that we spend a lot of time on. Is making sure that you're making wise decisions with when and how to take your Social Security.
Yeah, not to mention insurance, taxes, investments, risk, and all sorts of things that go into it. Property, real estate concerns people have, lots of things that go into retirement and helping you make wise decisions in all those aspects.
Yeah, we'll give you a nice little booklet to help you work through that, and we can also meet with you directly. So I just wanted a little commercial there for that, what we're doing. If you have questions about retirement readiness, of course, we're here to help you with that. Let's talk about the Nasdaq, Blake. We're talking about SpaceX, but let's talk about Nasdaq. We are seeing a sell-off. Last week we talked about that the Mag 7, the Googles and the Microsofts and the Apples and the Amazons have not been performing that well this year compared to the rest of the market. But like today, we're seeing a strong sell off in the NASDAQ, down 2.5%. As these big tech names are selling off today. This is Tuesday. We were supposed to do our show yesterday. But I want to, like the money is not disappearing and people are like, throwing in the bank, getting into a foxhole and honkering down because they think the market's coming to an end. They're taking their profit off these big winners and they're diversifying it in other areas. And case in point, I want to show you the NASDAQ Junior. So it takes out the top 100 companies and just everything below there on the NASDAQ Junior. QQQJ is the symbol. So although the NASDAQ is down today, 2.5%, this is only down 1%. So we're seeing some of these other names, and it's actually forming a little, this is a candlestick chart that I'm using here, 6 month. And so it was down to the low here. It's been up to there, and it is actually up from its low for the day. So what we're seeing is this, in my opinion, this is not like a broken market scenario where the people are selling. This is a profit-taking rebalancing that's going on in this marketplace. So if you're looking at opportunities to buy, you're nodding your head, Blake. You agree with that?
Yeah, I think this is providing opportunities as people rotate through the sectors. I was looking at energy. It's at a bit of an inflection point. It might be worth getting back into energy, away from tech now, but especially the mega cap tech. We're seeing, hey, we've made a bunch of money here. Let's capture those gains and reinvest in companies that haven't had their day in the sun yet.
So Blake mentioned the energy sector. Here's the XLE. And as you can see today, it's actually a positive. So, and look at this nice chart that it's been down. So I agree with that, that we're seeing a rotation. And let's look at the SQYD, which is the dividend value oriented companies of the S&P 500. And look at this, it's up 0.5%. So tech selling off, people take profit. Where are they going? They're rotating out to where defensive names, dividend players, energy, private financials. Haven't looked at that one close this morning. And let's look at just the growth side of the NASDAQ, of the S&P 500. And that's down 1.5%. So definitely a rotation to a defensive, value-oriented names. And we've seen this in the past, and we're thinking, oh, the rotation is really moving away. And then a day later, all these NASDAQ names come roaring back. So if you really wanted to get more tech exposure, it might be a good time to be looking at some of those tech names that you loved or wanted to invest in, but haven't had that chance. So talk to us about that.
One last thing that I think is important to note briefly here. We did have the first Federal Reserve meeting with the new chairman, Kevin Warsh, last week. And interestingly, he seemed a little hawkish. He's stressed that they are going to prioritize price stability and really keep down inflation, which was not the support for the market that President Trump might have been hoping. So I think we did see a little bit of pullback tied to that as well, as that tone was not quite as dovish as some might have hoped for. So just something to watch there moving forward. I do think they're going to be a little less, providing a little less information and keep things a little closer to the chest. So it's something we'll have to watch closely moving forward.
Yeah, he's definitely got a different style than other federal chairmen, and it's something we'll have to get used to. But yeah, some people are saying there's been a bait and switch on President Trump. You know, he put his weight behind Warsh and not quite what he told President that he wanted, the way he was going to be. So some people are claiming they're doing a bait and switch now.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening. Just a reminder here, WealthGuard Advisors, we are a registered investment advisor registered directly with the Securities Exchange Commission. And part of that is a fiduciary responsibility to our clients. We're obligated to act in our clients' best interests. So no commission structures, just simple fees, no opening fee, no exit fees, just transparent pricing for the services we provide. If that's something you're interested in or have questions or just want to pick our brains a little bit, we'd be happy to chat with you and see if we could be of service. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you for being with us. Hey, have a happy Independence Day if we don't talk to you before then. God bless America. We love you.